What if I told you that in exactly 90 days, no hesitation, no compromise, you could become someone entirely transformed? A man whose presence commands attention before he even speaks. A man whose clarity pierces through the noise. A man whose mind cannot be swayed by fear or fatigue. That man already exists. He is simply buried beneath layers of hesitation, doubt, distraction. And over the next 90 days, you will dig him out. You don't need magic. You don't need luck. What you need is precision. Ritual fire. The process begins now. It starts with one of the most powerful shifts a human being can make. Mastering the mind, not managing it, not taming it, mastering it, making it obey, turning it from a battlefield into a command center. That is Pillar 1. Mindset Dominion. From this moment forward, each morning starts not with chaos, but with command. You don't reach for your phone. You don't scroll social media. You don't feed on distraction. You sit in stillness, in silence, and you confront yourself. You become a sculptor, and your mind is the marble. Every thought, every word, every sentence you speak from this place carves away weakness and reveals the strength beneath. You read, not to be entertained, but to be reprogrammed. Books that challenge your identity. Words that sharpen your thinking. You journal not to vent, but to diagnose. You examine where you hesitated yesterday. You confess the lies you believed. You write out the truths you will live today. And then you stand. You look in the mirror, not with vanity, but with purpose. You speak your new identity into existence. I am unshakable. I am becoming. I operate from vision, not emotion. I do hard things. I walk through fire. These are not motivational quotes. They are neural rewiring tools. You are not hyping yourself up. You are training your subconscious to obey your vision. This is war, and your mind has been your greatest enemy until now. You've let comfort seduce you. You've let distraction numb you. You've let fear whisper you into retreat. But no more. From today on, your mornings become sacred. They become the forge in which your mind is reforged. Because everything else, your work, your health, your relationships will rise or fall depending on the state of your mind. Repetition is not weakness. Repetition is power. Every morning you repeat your identity. It becomes more deeply etched into your neural pathways. You speak, I am decisive. I do not flinch. I create. I lead. At first, these words might feel strange because they're new, but that's the point. Your old vocabulary served a smaller version of you. This one is for who you're becoming. Over the next 90 days, your mind will fight back. It will tempt you with ease. It will beg for the dopamine hit of entertainment. It will whisper, one day off won't hurt. That's the moment you win. Not when it's easy, but when it's war. Because every time you choose discipline over distraction, you send a message to your subconscious. I am in charge now. You are not your thoughts. You are the thinker of thoughts. And once you separate the two, you can start programming your inner world with surgical precision. You can identify the beliefs that have kept you broke, stagnant, invisible. You can rip them out and replace them with new ones aligned with your vision, not your fears. Mindset Dominion isn't a one-time event. It's a daily appointment with greatness, a ritual of transformation. You stack these hours day after day, morning after morning, and you will become mentally bulletproof. Not immune to difficulty, but unshakable in the face of it. You must understand this. The world is designed to weaken your mind. The media profits from your fear. Technology profits from your addiction. Weak people around you reinforce your excuses. You must build a fortress within yourself, one that cannot be shaken by headlines, opinions, or failures. That fortress is built one brick at a time, one affirmation at a time, one disciplined choice at a time. You're not doing this for applause. You're not doing this for validation. You're doing this because you refuse to live another day beneath your potential. You refuse to let your legacy be written by hesitation. You are reclaiming your mind, not just to feel better, but to lead, to build, to create, to dominate. Think of your favorite athletes, your favorite leaders, the legends you admire. They didn't stumble into strength. They trained their minds to obey them. They didn't wake up every day feeling amazing. They woke up committed. That's the difference. That's the edge. Your mind is a muscle. Every morning you train it. It grows. It becomes sharper, faster, more precise. And when the chaos of life hits, and it will, you won't be shaken. You'll be centered. You'll act, not react. You'll lead, not follow. That's what happens when you build mindset dominion. By the end of these 90 days, this ritual will not feel like a burden. It will feel like oxygen. You won't need reminders. Your body will crave it. Your spirit will demand it. You'll look forward to those moments alone with your thoughts, because you'll finally trust them. You'll know they serve you, not sabotage you. This is the foundation of everything. Without a mastered mind, every other effort crumbles. But with it, your business scales, your fitness sharpens, your relationships deepen. Everything rises. With the mind. So tomorrow morning, you don't wake up and wait. You don't check your phone. You don't drift. You command the day. You open the book. You open your journal. You speak the affirmations. You stare into your own eyes and remind yourself, I am not who I was. I am who I decide to be. And I decide daily. That's mindset dominion. That's where the 90-day transformation begins. And once the mind is under command, the body follows. The vision expands. The future accelerates. Because a man who commands, his thoughts cannot be enslaved by circumstance. He cannot be manipulated by trends. He cannot be shaken by storms. You will become that man. But it begins today. It begins in the mirror. It begins with your voice. It begins with the decision that from this moment forward, your mind is yours. Yours to lead. Yours to sharpen. Yours to master. Not someday today. Not one day, day one. Asterisk, asterisk. Your mind is forging itself into dominance, but without physical discipline, it will remain theoretical. Physical aggression is not optional in this transformation. It is the anchor that roots mental clarity into visceral reality. Pillar 2 begins with this commitment. Every single day for the next 90 days, you move. Not for vanity, not for social approval, but to transform your body into a vessel of execution. Movement isn't always beautiful. It is intentional, brutal, purpose-driven. 30 to 60 minutes minimum of movement that pushes your body into discomfort, builds tolerance, and forces adaptation. That could be running, sprinting, pushing heavy weights, lifting sandbags, climbing hills, doing bodyweight circuits, or shadow boxing. It doesn't matter what movement you choose, only that it is difficult enough to produce sweat and discomfort. Because sweat equal proof, resistance fuel. Growth found on the other side of pain. You train when sore. You train when tired. You train even when your mind cries for comfort. You train without excuses. This is not vanity, it is war. When your body learns to obey discipline, your mind follows. Because the body is the physical expression of identity. A weak body can't hold strong posture. A posture that collapses under pressure demands a mind that does the same. Begin each day with this movement ritual. Begin with a physical failure. That sparks discomfort. Drop sets, sprints, push-ups to failure, something that triggers your nervous system and floods your body with outcome signals. Fight fatigue. Confront laziness. Push your limits. Sweat until resistance softens. If you've got blood, sweat, and effort in that movement block, you prove to yourself you can act when you don't feel like it. That muscle becomes wired. Discipline transitions from concept to instinct. This physical ritual builds more than strength. It builds identity. You become the man who rises under pressure, the man whose posture never weakens when life gets heavy. The body becomes the anchor, solid, powerful, obedient. The mind then learns, if the body can do the work, so can the brain. If you can summon movement under fatigue, you can summon resolve under fear. Not think again about history's top figures. Winston Churchill improved his resilience through daily long walks. Thomas Edison took long walks when failing experiments piled up. Muhammad Ali trained while people slept. They didn't build physical bodies only. They built mental territory. Through movement. Because the body is data. If your body learns resilience, your mind receives that message in muscle memory. Not every movement has to involve a gym. You can sprint hills. You can carry heavy objects. You can do handstands. You can wrestle sandbags. But every movement block must remind you, I choose discomfort. I do what others don't. I stay strong when it's uncomfortable. This pillar also builds hormonal alignment. Cortisol drops. Endorphins rise. Testosterone recalibrates. Stress becomes fuel. Every physical choice is a feedback loop. The body registers success in terms of efficiency over excuses. Each subsequent day, your nervous system associates success not with ease, but with adaptation. Under stress, that subtle shift rewires you deeply. You no longer crave comfort, you crave progress. Pain signals growth, not harm. You must treat your body like sacred ground. You wake early. You eat to fuel discipline, not pleasure. You rest when recovery is needed, but discipline doesn't take days off. You don't binge junk. You don't scroll. You sharpen the environment to serve your identity. To be strong, fueled, prepared, resilient. Your movement ritual is where your mental dominance becomes visible. Strength in silence, resolve in grip, focus in each rep, discipline in every set. That is how the mind learns. Physical effort trains the brain to finish what it starts. Because the real test of mental will isn't when you're rested and motivated. It's when you're battered and still move forward. Each day this continues. The body learns not to doubt. Pain becomes familiar. Discomfort becomes a threshold knot. A barrier. You become anchored. Unshakable begins physically. Silent confidence radiates from your presence. The world feels it before they see it. And the mirror stops reflecting weakness and starts reflecting unwavering identity. That you record your movement each day. You track reps done, miles run, type of effort, a log of your physical commitment. Because when you see consistency in the numbers, it reinforces identity. That log becomes proof of who you are. It rewires your self-image. You aren't inconsistent. You are relentless. That is the difference between someone who starts strong and someone who finishes strong. Over these 90 days, you must treat your movement block as non-negotiable. Not a variable, depending on how you feel, but an immovable command. If life interrupts, find a way. If time shortens, compress effort. If you can't run, do body weight. If you wake sore, do mobility and tension. But you do something physical, because to break the body is to install discipline. At the end of 50 minutes of sweat, you pause. You breathe, you reflect. Take stock of your internal command. You close with your affirmation. I endure. I execute. I obey discipline. And you feel grounded in something larger than you, because discipline makes you irreversible. You build power in silence. You refine confidence in grind. You sharpen identity in straying. All of that through physical aggression. Because physical dominance internalizes command, mental dominance follows. When doubt arrives, you don't ruminate, you train. When fear knocks, you don't pause, you move. That is how you cross the threshold from mind control to embodied mastery. As your physical discipline compounds, so does your energy. You begin dropping distraction. You stop seeking escapes. You value rest as regeneration, not numbing. Sleep becomes priority because your body learned demand. Movement re-triggers respect. Posture updates. Energy climbs. Focus lifts. On day 90, your body will carry a different energy. Not just more musculature, but latent force. Your stance radiates authority. Your breathing is deeper. Your energy calmer. You walk as someone who belongs to purpose. No words needed. Your body says it all. But this pillar isn't just about strength. It's about presence. It's about becoming someone who can stand in any room and lean in. Physical aggression teaches you resilience. It teaches you presence. It teaches you the limits of fear. This pillar is a doorway. Enter it daily. Claim it. Sweat enough for the body to whisper your commitment. Then watch your mind obey. Because when the body leads, the mind amplifies. And when both move in unison, you host unshakable identity. Your mind is regaining command. Your body is learning discipline. Now it's time to build mission execution, a pillar so powerful it turns chaos into creation, distraction into deep work, ideas into impact. This is not optional. It is not secondary. It is the pulse of your legacy. For 90 minutes each day, without interruption, without excuses, you enter into the zone of deep, focused mission work. That work could be writing, designing, coding, training, building your craft, whatever drives your vision forward. For 90 days, you defend this time as sacred. In that 90-minute block, there are no phones, no notifications, no news, no dopamine leaks. Just you and the task at hand. Because consistency doesn't happen in fits, it builds over time. 90 minutes daily for 90 days adds up to 105 hours. 105 hours of undistracted, deliberate action. Enough to change a life. Enough to forge momentum. Enough to redefine who you are. Think of the greats. They didn't drift. They practiced. They executed whether they felt ready or not. Elon Musk works in deep chunks. Malcolm X researched and wrote relentlessly in prison. J.R.R. Tolkien built entire languages and worlds, one sentence at a time. Mastery is not about how fast you start. It is about how long you continue. When you begin your mission block, start with intention. Write down your cause, your project, your purpose. Remind yourself why it matters. Your block begins with clarity and ends with completion. If you don't finish, you don't stop. Instead, you carry the energy into the next day, and you complete it there. This builds identity. You are not someone who leaves tasks unfinished. You are someone who finishes, period. Your subconscious begins to register. Consistent execution is non-negotiable. The brain loves certainty. Repeated action trains belief. You are someone who gets results because you refuse to stop until the job is done. Mission execution doesn't mean perfection. It means practice. It means respect for a process. You can't launch everything. You can't solve everything. You don't need the smartest idea. You need to start. Each block builds habit. Each day compounds upward. Each action is a vote for who you've decided to be. Over 90 days, you'll steal your focus. Distractions become meaningless. Short-term cravings lose grip. Planning becomes action. You don't hope for clarity. You create it piece by piece. Gantt charts and sticky notes become your architecture. You learn the difference between busy work and build work. You prioritize impact over activity that your environment must support. Create a space free of shortcuts. an altar to your mission. That space rejects nothing but distraction. That space demands focus. You speak to it, commanding your mind to align. You begin to connect your external environment to your internal discipline. Your tools become aligned. Your habits become sacred. Your craft becomes non-negotiable. When you commit to your mission block as truth, everything changes. You measure time differently. You treat hours as investments. You stop diluting your attention. You stop gambling potential. You earn the freedom to refine and to leave mediocrity behind. Execution is both art and discipline. You write first. Drafts. You lay bricks. You fail. You reroute. You finish. You close loops. You are consistent over brilliance. You master the fundamentals: repetition, review, feedback. You build until your work grows too loud to ignore. During these 90 days, resist multitasking. You cannot read 10 books while scrolling and expect transformation. The brain craves stretch, not scatter. Choose one focus. Go deep. Go unwavering. Focus isn't production, it's protection. It shields you from noise, from busyness, from burnout masked as movement. You are rewriting your brain's reward system. You're teaching it not to crave escape, but engagement. You're redefining what consciousness means. And when mission becomes ritual, you don't wait for motivation. You generate it. You don't debate what to do. You do it. Because discipline is faster than desire. This block also builds clarity about your broader path. 3 things often happen. You learn what's important. You sharpen strategy. You test character. When ideas fail, you don't quit, you grow. When pace lags, you restructure. When doubts rise, you press forward. Execution reveals everything that matters. It fires ideals or melts them. Many fall into emotional iteration. Rewrite plans, chase trends, abandon mid-process. You don't. You commit. Execution becomes your identity. You are not defined by how clear the path is. You are defined by how. You walk it. Each day. Once your block completes, you journal again. You note progress. You evaluate friction. You adjust next steps. This review loop closes the gap between intent and insight. It ensures that your execution is iterative and sustainable. Without review, chaos creeps. With review, strategy grows. By day 60 or so, something shifts inside. Deep work stops feeling forced. It begins to feel aligned. Focus becomes easier. Thoughts sharpen. Time stretches. You move not to create results, but because creation itself has become your standard. On day 90, you'll open your delivery and see that you've built something tangible. Maybe a draft, a product, a body of work, a mindset. You realize execution matters more than intention. Presence matters more than planning. Velocity matters more than aspiration. Most people fail to keep execution alive past the first sprint. They chase the emotional high. They lose structure. You don't. You have turned execution into identity. You don't need inspiration. You are the source. You don't rely on clarity. You act. Consistency trumps everything else. When mission execution becomes natural, everything else aligns. Discipline stays, mindset stays, your body stays hungry. You no longer negotiate shortcuts. You no longer allow half measures. You become lethal in focus, relentless in delivery. Now say it out loud. I execute. I build. I finish when I start. I do not wait for inspiration. I move. I elevate. I deliver. This is Pillar 3. And now that your mind is refined, your body is disciplined, you build mastery. You haven't just chased purpose, you became purposeful. Everything else will bend to that, including opportunity. You have trained your mind. Your body has learned discipline. You have executed your mission repeatedly. Now comes the final pillar, No negotiation. This is your iron code, your covenant with your future self, the principle that decides who you become and what you're capable of. From this moment, there are no more excuses. Your word is your bond. Your identity is non-negotiable. You do not debate whether or not to follow through. You do not ask how you feel. You do not wait for a sign. You act regardless because your decision precedes your experience. When the alarm hits, you rise. When fatigue screams, you obey anyway. When distraction knocks, you shut the door. That is the posture. Absolute execution. No negotiations, no deviations, no exceptions. This is how Pillar 4 becomes your identity. A man of no. Negotiation doesn't schedule convenience. He commands discipline. He commits regardless of weather, energy, emotions, or others. When life's contradictions emerge, tiredness, hunger, your past self-waving compromise, you walk forward anyway. That choice, swallowed repeatedly, rewires your identity to future self, not past comfort. This pillar reshapes internal trust. Every time you do what you said you'd do, even behind closed doors, you send a message to your subconscious. I am reliable. That feedback loop rewrites your self-image from I try into I deliver. Consistency becomes identity. Decisiveness is your language now. You don't say, maybe. You say, I will. You don't say someday. You say, it's now. You don't say, if it works out. You say, I control the outcome. That clarity becomes magnetic. People feel it. Doors open. Opportunities search you out. To live with no negotiation, you must eliminate exit routes. Hidden plan. BS, fallback options, justification scripts. These weaken your resolve. When you keep your exit door open, part of you always plots retreat. But when you burn bridges to your past self, metaphorical or literal, your nervous system responds to absence of retreat by doubling down. Think of Hernan Cortés, who burned his ships upon landing in Mexico. He made return impossible. That extreme metaphor serves a truth. When retreat is removed, commitment wins. You commit fully. You hold the line. You move forward with no arbitrary breaks. Within 90 days, this pillar crystallizes your cues. The alarm strikes, you move. The timer goes off, you complete. Others doubt, you focus. You speak less, you build more. You obey your schedule, not feelings or moods. Your internal script is now, I executed today. Tomorrow, I execute again. That script loops daily until identity merges with it. That is no negotiation. It overrides hesitation, invalidates excuses, dismisses comfort. With this structure, the journey becomes non-optional. You're not debating whether you'll succeed. You're demanding it. Failure is invisible because you don't fail, you pivot and move. You don't back out, you lean in. You don't collapse, you commit. This pillar also structures accountability. You stop calling inconsistency self-care. You stop framing regressions as rest. You don't drift. You hold your own word. That makes you rare. That makes you predictable to yourself. You no longer cajole, you decree. Under this code, execution becomes movement, not line to cross. You're not clearing boxes. You're aligning actions, one by one, until complacency dissolves. Power comes through refusal to negotiate, not because you're inflexible, but because you obey your own standard more than you obey impulse. Every day, toward the end of this pillar phase, you pause in stillness. 5 minutes, eyes closed, breathing heavy. You visualize your future version. You reaffirm, I am unshakable. I obey my covenant. I rise when the world stays quiet. That embeds discipline at the cellular level. This pillar completes the architecture of identity. Mind, Disciplined, body anchored, mission executed consistently, identity unwavering. You have no retreat zone. You walk forward, not by mood, not by chance, but by commitment so deep that everything else must bend. After 90 days, your old self will feel like a fiction, a shaky footnote in a story you outgrew. You won't regret discipline. You'll regret not starting. So you extended yourself beyond yesterday's version, and now you're someone else entirely. Asterisk, you have mastered your mind. You have disciplined your body. You have executed your mission every day. You have declared that there will be no negotiation. Now, as the horizon of 90 days approaches, it's time to confront the three walls, the decisive thresholds designed to test and transform you. Passing these walls separates those who talk about change from those who embody it. Wall 1, Day 7. Temptation to abandon the honeymoon period ends here. You have started strong. You are still fresh. But somewhere, deep inside, a quiet voice begins to whisper, "You've given enough this week." Take a break. Fatigue surfaces. Excuses amplify. Unless you have trained for this moment, you may let frustration steal your momentum. This wall isn't about failure. It's about resolve. You step through it in silence. You show up anyway. The ritual still happens. The workout still happens. The mission still happens. You don't announce your progress. You prove it. At this wall, you establish a baseline. Every day matters. If you can't follow through when it first gets uncomfortable, you will never sustain. Wall 2, Day 30. The tedium wall. Now the novelty is gone. You don't feel as different. You don't see fast progress. The routine feels cold. Doubt arrives. Is this really working? Purpose begins to feel like drudgery. This is the tedium wall. The world celebrates immediate results, but real growth is disruptive slow motion. You don't quit here. You default to identity. Your mind has already been rewired. When the surface feels barren, you dig deeper. You anchor in your morning input. You rise at the alarm. You show up even when it's repetitive. That is the point. Those who stay through tedium become rare. Those who quit confuse discomfort for failure. Wall 3, Day 60. Identity shift. This wall arrives quietly. You no longer ask if you're capable. You notice your posture feels stronger. Your self-talk is firmer. Your environment has shifted. You feel tension in old relationships. You no longer fit into the old version of your life. This is identity becoming visible. This is the moment you realize the work is now invisible, but also irreversible. You no longer train for who you were. You train for who you are becoming. You don't ask for new permission. You command your presence. You don't ignore friction. You rise above it. When this wall arrives, many wonder if their sacrifice was worth it. But you don't stumble. You remain disciplined. You answer to your new identity, not your old comfort. Vision of Day 90. You look in the mirror. You don't recognize that man from day 1. But inwardly, you feel kinship. Your posture carries weight. Your gaze reveals presence. You speak differently, even in silence. You did not quit. You did not negotiate. You did not regress. You executed. You sharpened. You grew. Your habits built steadily beneath the surface. Now your lines of power are visible. You hold yourself to standards that no longer need explanation. Confidence is not loud. It no longer seeks validation. It simply exists. You carry a calm intensity. Your energy is measured. Your decisions are immediate. Your mission is steady. Fear has lost permission to influence you. Doubt is a soft echo in empty rooms. Day 90 affirmations. Loop them internally. I am unshakable in discomfort. I move before motivation arises. My rituals define me. My past no longer. owns me. My identity is elevated by each action. These aren't phrases, they are commands to your subconscious. You have repeated them enough to rewrite the script. You have acted them enough to make them true. Asterisk, now that you've heard this transformation. Path, here's what to do. Rewatch this video daily until the words no longer feel foreign. Let them sink into your nervous system. Lock in your will. Set your non-negotiable hours in your calendar. These 4 pillars are your covenant. Begin day 1 even, if you've delayed or broken the cycle before. Past attempts are irrelevant. What matters is who you become now. This isn't about perfection. It's about direction. It's not about speed. It's about consistency. In 90 days, someone else will show up. That someone has never needed permission. That someone doesn't seek applause. That someone is not defined by circumstance, but by covenant.